attendees. We've got people coming in.
Amazing. Are they already in?
Yep.
Okay.
In. Hi,
Hello, everyone. I'm going to take a minute for everybody to come in. Shivani is here as well.
Hi.
Hi. How's it going, Shivani?
All good. I just finished office and I rushed back home because the lighting is not that great in office.
Wow.
So thoughtful.
And you live in Delhi, right? Like, if I'm not wrong.
No, I'm based out of Bangalore.
Oh, okay. But either ways, both have crazy traffic. So
yeah, but at least Delhi has wider roads.
Yeah.
I just hope Bangalore folks are not hearing me there. They're going to all agree.
Hello, everyone. Whoever's joining in, thanks so much for being here.
We are still going to take some time to welcome everybody in. Slowly they're coming in. That's great. So I'm actually going to start with speaking about what we're going to do here, and you all can chime in. We're going to also put in some poll questions and make it interactive. So you can leave your questions in the chat and we'll be taking it from there. I'm Arvi and he's Vishal. I've done my bachelor's in marketing and master's in international fashion retailing. I'm an entrepreneur and a marketer. And we started You Got PR because we love creating content and giving out information that's relevant to people like us. We were immigrants in 2020 and we were so new to this country. I had even did a small stint at UK. So I know how it feels to be an immigrant and, a little of an outsider. So I wanted that experience to be better for my fellow immigrants. And that's why You Got PR. And now let me really, start quickly introduce you to Shivani, who is a co-host. She anchors student success at GradRight, is an economics honors graduate from University of Delhi, a Ratan Tata Scholar for her master's in management from Army Institute of Management, Kolkata, and a Murugappa Group under 35 young leader from Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. I'm so glad and honored to be hosting Shivani here. Prior to GradRight, she has a decade of experience with one of India's leading NBFCs in credit underwriting. And Shivani, to speak more about what you do at GradRight, I'm going to pass it on to you.
Yeah, thank you, Urvi. I mean, that was so much of a detail. I usually don't like, that kind of a detail coming from me. But, to put it in very simple terms and, relevant to the topic of this webinar today, relevant to the event, I and my team at GradRight, we help students find the right funds for, their higher studies, mostly, post-graduation. Abroad. So that is what we do. And I think that is what we're going to address today for students looking to, go study abroad in US and Canada. But maybe I'm very sure there will be folks who are going to UK or maybe Australia. That always happens. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay, that's wonderful, Shivani. No, we really love supporting international students, right? As we mentioned, and I can feel the pain because I went to UK as well in 2014. So I started all my preparations in 2013, and I was looking for all the opportunities as to which university, finalizing everything. It's so overwhelming because you have to, the education system in India versus anywhere abroad is so different. So to plateau that and then worry about your funding and everything is such a roller coaster ride for a student. And I love that GradRight and your platform FundRight solves that for so many international students. So I know that we all think that our family funds or our savings are the first go-to when it comes to international, education or just any education. And we think that loans, oh my God, like interest rates, will I be able to pay the ROI? All these questions come in when you hear the term loan. So tell us, how does GradRight and your platform FundRight simplify this for students?
All right. So, while I'm very keen to understand, what was your journey? How did you fund and what went about in your mind at that time, what mistakes you did. But before we jump onto that, I think I'll just quickly answer. So FundRight is the funding platform over GradRight. We also have something called SelectRight, where we help students with admissions through a data-driven engine. But on FundRight, we largely deal with education loans that students are looking for to finance their masters abroad, right? And this is agnostic to any country that they're going to, so long as the banks and the lenders that are partnered with us onto the portal, so long as they are funding that particular country, we are cool to have that student sign up onto our platform and go ahead, get their funds, right? So it's again a data-driven platform. From the comfort of your home, you can quickly, on your mobile, create a profile for yourself and very transparently get all the possible options of loans, in a personalized dashboard that each student would have for their profile, right? And it is also known as the first loan bidding platform of the world, not the country alone. Why?
Wow.
Because there are say we have 13 partners onto our portal, which is such a comprehensive mix of types of banks and lenders that each one of them tries to compete amongst themselves for that particular student if they really want to go ahead and give a loan to that student, right? So they compete amongst each other. So it's not the student who is going to the bank or running up to the banks, it's the banks running up to the student, right? Also, it's free of charge. There is no charges from GradRight's end. And I often like to say that there is so much of transparency on the portal, on the platform, because there is almost everything available on the platform which can help the student do it themselves, right? A smart student can completely sail through the platform. But of course, we are dealing with loans here. I still find students not comfortable doing it by themselves. So we have an advisor dedicated to every single student who sort of evaluates for the student, what their expectations are and how they match with the bank norms, right? And we try to bring in a good match between the bank and the student's expectations and the norms of the bank. So where, if a student directly deals with a bank or a lender, they will mostly be sold, good points about that particular bank. But what we try to tell is, while these are the pros, these are the cons of going with a lender. So whatever decision you're making, make that decision with enough information, enough rationale, right? So the platform is largely trying to be very, very student-centric. And we want to change habits where students stop depending on Google information and so much of research and maybe fake information or half-baked information, and rather use data, rather use dashboards like this, where using the data, they make some rational decisions. So
Absolutely.
this is what
I was telling Vicky, this is the first time we spoke with your team as well, that You Got Pair is all about DIY, right? That's exactly what we preach. So we're so much in sync to this. This is super exciting. So let's get started. I think we do have a good number of people here, and everybody's excited to know exactly what are the ways they can fund themselves and how they can study abroad. I do realize that we do have a quick poll questionnaire for our audience who's joined us. So are we able to pull that up? What's the system to get answering to those questions?
Right. So I think, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So guys, you can go ahead and, answer. Okay, it's 4 questions, a lot of work to do, but it's okay. Quickly choose and then, maybe take the ball.
So everyone who is here, take this questionnaire and please fill it out. So we are going to be, speaking more about those then. So it's tailored to your scenario, and you guys get a lot of good information from you.
And let Urvi also answer. Let's see if she was back in 2013, what would she answer, right?
Yeah.
So I'm USA or Canada bound. It has to be one of these.
So I was very, very hedonic in my industry, that's fashion, right? And that's why I had chosen UK in specific. Yeah, it would still be USA and not Canada if it was fashion.
Okay.
But if it was finance or tech, I would still consider Canada because it does have good opportunities for that.
Nice. And I'm targeting fall 22 or spring 23. Do you know what fall 22
yes,
is?
Yes, because it's September, right?
Yeah.
And I went on a fall intake as well. And I think fall is great. I love fall. It's a different experience for me, especially. I came from Chennai. We did not experience much of anything apart from summer. So I was excited to be a fall intake.
Nice.
And yeah,
Your
I would still
program
go
of
for.
choice, I know there's no fashion, but is it
Yeah,
STEM
but I would
based?
take management.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Management is good, always
Yeah.
good. It secures you good jobs, right?
Yeah.
And the last one, my biggest challenge regarding funding. Now, this would be honest. In
Yes.
2013, you did not know anything about how to fund yourself.
Yes, I'm sorry, guys. I
then-
was not updated with, my options, because a lot of my finances and everything, I did have a job. Like I used to work for Amazon India when I was applying for UK. But my dad used to take care of a lot of my
Let's
funding.
break that, right?
And
I don't know
yeah,
if things have changed now,
I
but
think it's a lot. Yeah, now maybe things have changed due to technology and good information and people making good choices. I was someone who was definitely handheld by my dad
absolutely.
and a few friends who were doing similar stuff. And my dad was taking out all his savings and, being like, okay, yeah, I'll fund your education. And I think as per the ROI and everything that he would also get with that money, had he invested that and not given it to me, it would be a better decision. So
Manish.
I do think that was my mistake.
Nice. Manish says, high five, I too work for Amazon right now. That's amazing.
Hey.
And on that regard, I actually want to bring out something which I don't really tell a lot of people. I actually did not pursue my MBA in 2014 or 2015. Not because, fortunately, we did have decent finances, but I did not want to borrow money from my parents. And I did not think of loans back then. Honestly, the whole idea of loans is so daunting. I was like, no, I can't take a loan. Why would I get a loan? Who am I to get a loan and all of that? So I don't really speak about it enough because that's a regret.
Yeah.
And things have been.
I also feel, Shivani, that however, advanced we get or like how much our education there is, we still have this mind block about loans, right? Like, because we immediately think of, okay, how will we repay it?
Yeah.
What is the interest rate? What does it look like? What does the economic condition mean for this? Like, and when I go to pay it, like, what is the ROI like? All these questions. Do you get all these questions from these students?
So, you'll be surprised to know I come from the sector, right? I have about
Yes.
now almost 13 years of experience in banking and finance. And I was an underwriter too. So I used to pass loans, right? But you will be surprised to know until I got married and finally when we wanted to buy a house, that is when I opened up to taking a loan. Okay, before that, I did not even use a credit card, right? So being an underwriter, passing loans every day, knowing the intricacies of it, I was not very pro loans. But when I had to buy this house and it was very expensive, that's when we realized that, a loan becomes critical when you have to bridge the gap, right? And then it actually becomes the right kind of usage of funds, because there is no other way to probably, fill in that gap. You might have some money which you may want to give as down payment, some money for the, maybe the furniture of the house, some money, right? But a large portion of it, because the cost is so much, will come from the loan, right? And education abroad today is somewhat similar, right? If you are going to a country like, say, US, the average cost of education now at least comes to around 60 lakhs for a 2-year course, right? You look at Canada, if you're looking at the universities in Canada, it is again around 40-45 lakhs. If you're looking at the colleges in Canada, then maybe it's a little cheaper, say 25 lakhs for a 2-year diploma program, right? UK 1-year course can cost you, in a good, well-ranked college, it can cost you around 35-40 lakhs, like the Imperial or college, it can actually go more expensive.
Yeah. I think even King's College and
yeah. And when you are looking at an MBA, it can even go up to crores. So 1 CR, is generally the cost for an MBA if you're looking at the, say, top 100 schools, Financial Times ranking, to do an MBA, right? So if that is the kind of cost, I'm not very sure how many students really have, or how many families really have those kind of funds. Maybe a portion of it, about 10 to 20 lakhs available quickly. Maybe that can be managed through own funds, or maybe if you're working professional, then through your savings. But 80% or 70% of that total cost is coming from a loan, right? So that is where the loan really starts looking meaningful. And then
Yeah.
you can't think in terms of, oh, it's going to be so costly. Oh, I don't want to be burdened with a loan. Rather, you need to think practically that, okay, if this is the kind of EMI I have to service in the future, what kind of a program am I going for? What are the returns from this program? What kind of jobs are in that country after I pass out? And how much will my EMI be of that earnings that I do every month, right? So that
I
is
think
a-
that's when the student also starts strategically thinking about their course. Is
Right.
it worth their while? And, it makes more sense out of what they're going to do with their life, has a plan and works towards it, which is so great, right?
Do you want to cite an example of, did you get your ROI sorted in the UK? What do you think?
Yes. So I will speak about it.
How much were you
It's,
spending there? And yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit embarrassing though, because my dad did fund it, but he was very smart enough to also coach me in terms of like, look for part-time jobs. You need to get that experience in and settle in UK then, because studying in UK in that currency and then coming back to India where the market is different, the currency is different, where the return on investment is different, is like
It's not the
not
wisest
sensible. Yeah, it's
decision.
not the wisest decision. So I definitely went with high hopes and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stay back. But then the Brexit happened. Britain exited from the European Union, and for that time, not only the pound value went down, the UK stopped hiring. It was frozen, and they were not taking in, leave alone Europeans, they were not taking international people, and even who studied there. Like I studied there, I invested in the UK's economy for my education, and in return I got sent back to my house because like nobody was ready to give you the visa. It was getting so hard, and that's when it hit me. And I actually gave my younger sister the advice, and this advice then I would give everybody, right? Because if I'm giving it to my younger sister, it's making sense that I actually should have taken a step back and evaluated what I was doing then. And in 2013, I shouldn't have just been hedonic about where I wanted to go. I wanted to see the economic conditions of that country, what they're doing with their international students. Are they giving those visas? And like Canada is doing that. And that's
In the
why,
US.
yeah, even the US is doing that, for especially a few degrees, they have greater opportunities. So then lean towards that degree, because it's all about, how strategically you're planning this. I did get a part-time job, and I was able to recover half of my fee, I would say. But then the cost of living there is so expensive. For having an ensuite, student accommodation, the rooms are personal, but the house is shared, the kitchen is shared, you still pay so much. At that time it was 600 pounds, I believe, in a month, and now and I was in Manchester, so think about someone in London, it's going to be even expensive. So the whole thing is that try to think of loan as a friend. Now I'm starting to think that. So even if Vishal still has his, MBA dreams and he wants to pursue it, I'm going to be betting towards a loan.
Actually, I mean, just a quick one, right? So
Yeah.
we, after coming to Canada as well, she pursued a 3-month small course.
Yeah.
And we, of course, immediately went towards an education loan because like, okay, my money is already been funded somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we might as well take advantage of that. But coming back to the ROI point, just wanted to point out, because I know Urvi's story, I think we spent about, or rather she spent about 30 lakhs in her education plus living there. And the good thing
For
was—
1 year.
Yeah,
1 year.
it's a 1 year, right? That is includes her living expense and all of that. But the good thing is, I think she recovered close to about 12 to 13 lakhs in Indian currency within that 1 year as a part-time student as well.
Yeah.
So Shivani, one quick question to you. I'm not sure if you have the numbers ready, but what's your experience in terms of people who work with FundRight? They get a loan. We have so many people on our DMs who've sanctioned loans and come to Canada as well. What's the average return, or by when have you seen students usually finish their loans and are like secure, now done that, and they're good? I just want to add here, I'm sure the number is high. I'm assuming that because the kind of jobs you get after studying abroad are also good. But yeah, I want to hear it from you because you have the data.
Right. So I'll speak country-wise, right? Now, US is the most preferred destination in terms of, if you see the Indian market, almost 60% of traffic moves towards US. And this is largely for STEM courses, I would say. And because US has the STEM terminology is more popular in the US. And for a STEM course, you get a 3-year OPT period post you finish. And then after the 3-year OPT period, you apply for the H-1B lottery, right? So at least 3 years is very visible that this is where I'm going to be there in the US and probably be earning, right? So for STEM courses in US, the kind of remuneration that students can earn, say if you're going to the top 500 universities of US, the earn back periods, exactly what you asked, Vishal, they are around 4 years max. 5 years is, absolute max, which a student should take to repay the loan. And I don't say that, everybody can manage that. When a student enrolls, say, to FundRight and takes their loan from us, we also sort of cautiously call out there is some hygiene. Whenever you take a loan, there is some hygiene you have to manage, where, you control your lifestyle costs even after finishing your MS, because earlier you're living as a student and then you have your own apartment and you have your own dreams because you're earning some money, right? But there has to be a hygiene discipline in terms of first paying your EMI, right, your liabilities, and then putting any money towards maybe travel or some kind of an experience that you want to have, right? So US should not go beyond 5 years. And I have students who have closed their loans very decently within 2 years, 8 months to 3 years, right? Post finishing a STEM course, right? So because for STEM courses, mostly into tech, like computer science, data science, information technology. So these kind of courses, students end up with a remuneration of around $80,000 annually, right? Now, if I see also in the US, a lot of students end up getting opportunities to work on the campus in the form of an assistantship. Could be a research assistantship or a graduate assistantship or a teaching assistantship, which sort of gives them money, takes care of their living expenses and the insurance costs, because it's an on-campus with the college kind of a job, right? So that sort of manages the living costs, and then there is only the tuition cost left. And most of the students I see, they take the loan, only for the maybe first 2 semesters. Third semester, more or less, they are able to manage on their own, unless you have a very, very, horrendous cost, like so long as your loan is somewhere around, say, program cost is somewhere, say, around 50 lakhs, they usually don't end up taking any loan for the third semester.
Yeah.
And often I've seen STEM students, Indian students who go for STEM programs to US, they also finish their courses earlier. Although it's a 4-semester course, they tend to finish a little earlier. I think that's in our blood, or that's how we are.
All the CEOs in the US are right now Indians, right?
Yeah.
So there should be a reason for that.
All the tech companies are Indians. Yeah, Indian CEOs. That's amazing.
Canada, on the other side, I would say it's kind of relaxing. One, because the cost of attendance is much lower, right? And then there is also a lot of flexibility in the academic schedules. There is also flexibility in terms of the number of hours the students can work during, this study period for part-time. So because of that, living cost is what? The GIC money, it's around 6 lakhs annually, right? So overall, the kind of money you invest to study in Canada, and in comparison to that money, the kind of jobs you will end up in, because Canada also has a huge sector, finance is very good, consulting is very good, healthcare is a big sector. So, and it's a very inviting country, at least we understood after the COVID, right? So from that sense, you put in very little money compared to US or UK, and still you end up getting decently well paid, right? So the ROI is as good for Canada. And I have this, feeling, or if you see the trends, the traffic towards Canada is increasing tremendously, especially after COVID. Why? Because the kind of treatment the Canadian government gave to Indians, international students, I wouldn't say Indian students, international students versus any other country, I think was commendable. And the number of, colleges that are there in Canada, that also sort of, is inviting a lot of traffic from India, right? Then comes then I would say then it's rest of the world, right? I wouldn't really say UK or Australia, because both UK and Australia have very high living costs. Also UK until a few years back, did not have this post-study work visa. Only very recently they opened up, right? Also, UK, you'll spend 30 lakhs. You'll probably start earning somewhere around maybe 35 to 40 lakhs on an average, which is not good enough, right? Because per month, the costs of living go to 80,000 to 1 lakh, right? So that is way too expensive. And Australia, again, you spend around 40 lakhs, but not so welcoming. I mean, that's the country which opened really late the borders for international students.
Absolutely,
right? And then you have Europe left, very few B schools. I said, if you're looking at Europe, just look at the top B schools, maybe the INSEADs and the HECs, or maybe the top 5, top 10. Germany is a good option again, because no tuition, at least if you're going to a public university. But then you have constraints of earning, you should know German. You should rather be looking at an automobile or a mechanical sector. That's what Germany is good for, right? But taxes are so high, it's crazy, right? So US tops the chart, followed by Canada. I'm very sure Canada is soon going to catch the trend. The numbers look like that. The data speaks that way. But doubtful that any other country is going to compete with these two.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking us through the entire globe. Feels like I've traveled everywhere. I have a very good question on the Q&A, and actually this is something which we were going to talk about next. So I'm glad this question came up by an anonymous attendee. The question was, what are some of the scholarships to apply for from US? And I actually, even before you touch up on scholarships, which I know is a big topic, and you are super equipped with what you need to tell us. What are the other? So I know for a fact, when it comes to education, there is my parents' money or our savings, and that there's a loan. But I do have a few people on my DMs who've told me that they've come here on fellowships, or a part of their payment has been made by the university or college. Again, there's something which we didn't know because we didn't do any of these. So anything on those grants or fellowships, or what are the other ways to fund your education? And I'm sure, I'm assuming FundRight would help us through that as well, right?
Sure. So, so US, if you see, US, or maybe say it is UK, also Canada, so long as you're looking at the top schools, right? There are scholarships available which are merit-based and need-based, right? And these scholarships are again of two kinds. One is a scholarship which is provided by the college. So it's an internal college scholarship. There are also external scholarships, right? So internal scholarships, while you are putting in an application to the college, applying for the college, that is when you sort of input that, you may need a scholarship. And what they're going to look at is basically what are your income levels and why do you need that scholarship, or why you should get that scholarship. And it'll not be mostly more than $5,000, $3,000. Sometimes it can go up to even $15,000 or something like that, generally on an average, right? MBA students can ask for more scholarships. I have seen folks going to Harvard, Stanford, where almost, if $100,000 was the cost of the program, the MBA program, they did get a $40,000, $50,000 kind of a scholarship, right? And that totally depends on how strong a contender are you for that scholarship, right? So your essay application, your SOP, your overall academic profile, and of course the need is what the college is going to adjudge to be able to give you that scholarship. Then there are some states like Texas, right, which has something called in-state tuition. So your tuition literally halves if you become eligible for that in-state tuition, and that is also again a factor of how you fared in your undergraduate scores, right? They convert it and they look it as per their own standards, and then they call out, okay, you are eligible for institution. So that gives you around $1,000 per month as scholarship, right? So that is that. So these are internal to college. Now there is external scholarships, which are again of two kinds. One is a pure and pure scholarship. So you get the money and you don't have to pay it back, right? But there is something called soft loan scholarships, right? So you do get the money, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, or maybe it covers your entire tuition also. But you may have to still repay that money with zero interest or maybe 1% simple interest, right?
Okay.
And that soft loan scholarship is also backed by some insurance, right? Now, who gives these, soft loan scholarships or external scholarships are largely, corporate houses or some enterprise level scholarships like the Tatas and the Birlas, KC Mahindra, some names to give out. And trust me, they can start from about, say, 3 lakhs of an amount and go up to even covering your tuition, right?
Okay. Wow.
And
so soft loan scholarship.
yes. So, and it's not easy to get these scholarships. They literally assess you basis, the way you apply to a college in US or say the top colleges of Canada or say the world. These are available only for master's programs, sometimes maybe PhDs also. But they will assess your application exactly the way the college assesses your application. So they will look at your test scores, GRE, GMAT, IELTS, TOEFL. They will look at what kind of a program you're going for. They will also ask for an SOP or an essay application of, with limited words and why you deserve this scholarship. Sometimes they also may have strings attached to these scholarships, like, do you have any plans to come back to India and work with our organization, one of our organizations, or maybe if they are internationally present, then one organization in one country, right? So you have to be very careful in looking at that. Now, this is the application part. They also conduct online tests. They also have an interview. So they want to be sure the money that they're giving out to is going to a well-deserved student, and it is meaningful, right? So there are many like that. There are about 5, 6 like that. You can apply to these scholarships for masters, 2 years masters courses. There are some conditions like you should have completed your undergraduation in India only. And you can also apply for these scholarships if you've missed out in the first year. You can also apply to these scholarships for the second year, right?
Where am I looking for these scholarships? Like, you have so much knowledge. Where am I looking for all this?
This you can just Google it. These are names, and when you come to GradRight, when I see a student, I literally I'm able to gauge, okay, this guy probably could get eligible for this scholarship, because I remember in my tenure, I have had. Now I have a team to service, but when we started, we were very small, 6, 7 people. So I used to service all the students, right? So I did experiment with that. Sorry, the power went out, but but it'll be back. The link will be on. It's fine so long as you can hear me. So I did have 5 students, that applied to my own students. They applied to these scholarships, and I was very happy when 3 of them, got the scholarship, right? And one had gone to Carnegie Mellon, the other one had gone to Texas A&M College Station. And the third one again was for Carnegie Mellon. So all 3 students, I knew they had very good GRE scores. They were going to very good programs. They were going to very good colleges, very meritorious kids. So yeah, when they cracked it, I was like, okay, this is possible and this is happening.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So there's one more question from the Q&A. Someone who's attending is like, I will be going to US for a STEM course. It's information system in Syracuse University for fall 2022, and so far have tried to manage the fee, but I'm still skeptical whether I will be able to repay the loan and my parents' investment on me will be worth it, considering Syracuse is quite expensive. What do you have to suggest for this?
So just before I answer that question, on the scholarships part, since we finance for higher education, if you're taking a loan from GradRight, then, while you're going through the process, you also unlock certain scholarships on the portal, right? So these are GradRight exclusive scholarships. Some of it is our own money, we are betting on you. And some of it is in partnership with a lender. Say, for example, with one particular international lender, we have 5 awards for $5,000 each. Which are applicable to students going to US, right? So at least if you're applying through GradRight, you at least become eligible for that award, right? So And guys, do look at these scholarships, and every stage opens up certain benefits for you while you are in the process, right? So that was that. I missed that out, right?
I'm sorry, Shivani, two questions have raised to my mind just before we get into the Q&A and all that. Number one, you had mentioned top 500 US colleges, and that just stuck on to me. Now,
No, not US colleges, QS ranking. You should just follow QS ranking.
Got it. But still, what I wanted to bring out, when you say top 500, for some reason, when I was trying to study back then in 8 years back, right, I used to think of these top 500, but I would only think of the first 5, first 10, first 15. What I want to ask you, you don't have to list the universities or colleges to me. Can you give a benchmark of who fits into a top 500 QS?
Yeah.
Like, just give me a rough benchmark so that I can get aspirational again that, yeah, probably I fit in. And it's not scholarship related. It's just to understand.
It's a very good question, and thanks, Vishal, for putting it. So when I say top 500, these schools are sort of vying for students who are benchmarked basis some criteria, right? Because it becomes easier for them to sort that this is the student I'm going to admit and this is the student I'm not going to admit, right? So pre-COVID, there was a very simple criteria. You had your test scores, GRE, GMAT, right? And mostly it was mandatory to be able to cracking any of the university degree programs, not the diploma programs, right? Now, it was a good benchmark. And then they have the statement of purpose, right? But then when COVID came in and there were no tests for some time because there was no way you could conduct those tests, a lot of universities ended up waiving these GRE, GMAT test scores, right? Now, when they did that, they placed a lot of weightage on then the statement of purpose, right? Okay. And luckily, these very good schools, fortunately, these very good schools have a very nice way of evaluating the student, not just academically, right? But that statement of purpose sort of tries to understand, from that they try to understand what is the student really about, right? Why are they choosing this program? What is their passion? What did they do in their childhood, or how did they come through this journey? What have they done extraordinarily in their life so far? What extracurricular activities were they involved in? Did they publish any papers? If they interned or if they worked for a while, what was that kind of an experience? So they try to sort of evaluate on that bit also, right? So say, for example, you're a student looking to pursue a master's in computer science, right? Today, it is not necessary that you should have written a GRE score. Although if you have, then you will be on a little more higher edge than the other student. But because there are very good colleges who waived off GRE and you have an admit from them, they probably would have chosen you because you had a very strong statement of purpose. You had very good GPAs. You had, also your language proficiency test matters to some extent, because they put those conditions, right? That for this college, I'll require a 7 and above, or for this college, 6.5 and above, IELTS is okay. TOEFL, if you're saying that maybe 90 and above, 95 and above is looking good, right? But as you see the ranking going down, you will see that, the benchmarks come down. So I know colleges which fall below 500. They are cool with, an IELTS 6, which
basic, it's basic. Yeah, of course.
Correct. Also, a good identifying pattern will be if you're dealing with a counselor, right? Like those typical agents in the market who will tell you it's a free admission that I'll get you. You need to be a little cautious, because while it might look free for you, but they're getting paid from that university, right? And then that university is literally trying to fill seats, right? And those universities will generally not be that great, right? So I don't want to name any universities here, but rankings are very, very clearly establishing that, right? So you will also see, such universities may affect your chances of getting your visa approved, right? So the lower ranked universities also sort of, get reflected in your visa interview.
Does that impact the loan as well, by any chance?
It does greatly impact the loan, because not coincidentally, by experience and by trends, banks have placed their, norms, have set their norms and heavily put a weightage on ranking of the college. Every single bank every single lender has their own list of ranked colleges, right?
I want to make some sense out of that. So I just want to make some sense out of that. Probably because the ROI would be impacted accordingly.
It is based on ROIs, but I would not say still that suppose you're getting a college which is in New York, right? New York is New York, right?
Yeah.
You might think, oh, I'm going to be in New York, but it is going to cost you so much because the living expenses are so high. Whereas you have another program that is probably say not in New York, maybe say Colorado, Denver, right? And say it's an electrical engineering program in NYU versus an electrical engineering program in Colorado, right? I would still say I think that Colorado, Denver would be better because the cost will be drastically low. You will still end up with equally good ROI, right? So that is where you need to be, very, very clear and strong in your data that don't just choose any university in New York because it is New York, right? You may have to go deeper into what course you are doing and what are the job opportunities around in that area for that particular program. How are your networks? How will you network, right? So all of that has to be compared and then the decision be made.
Thanks so much for an impromptu question. I'm sorry we derailed from our plan and the time. So we do have some amazing questions coming up. Everybody, extremely sorry we've not answered the questions yet is because we have a dedicated Q&A. We've got Shivani here. She's going to explain, probably answer all of those questions as well. Shivani, is there anything else we need to know in terms of loans or anything else which will be really important for scholarships? Just give us a little sum up on all of this. And then let's get a Q&A because everybody's eager to learn so much from you. And we're so fortunate to have you here. So please.
Thank you, Vishal. So what I would just, brief it up as one, the country you're going to matters a lot. The program that you're choosing matters a lot. So STEM and MBA programs, STEM and management programs, I would say, count the most, right? Because the ROI is highest there. Then always start planning in advance, right? So if you're looking to go study abroad, I would say consciously that thought should come into you at least 2 years prior, right? And if you are looking to go, say, next year, this is the right time to start making your applications. Laggards in this market don't work well, right? So the sooner you apply to the college, the faster you get the decision. So say if you start applying for next fall, you'll complete your applications by max November, December. And then by Feb, you will start getting your decisions. By March end, you'll probably have all your decisions in hand. And, parallelly, you can start applying for loans. Say by March, April, you'll get done with your loan. And then imagine you have so much time to nicely book your visa slots, nicely plan where do you want to stay, what kind of an accommodation, then plan around your flight tickets, and still be left with enough time to spend with your family because you'll be gone for maybe 2 years and more. So the sooner you start, the more you save. Right.
Nice.
It is great. Directly linked to the kind of money you can save. And I've seen people, smart people always start a year early, at least.
Vishal is the laggard. I'm the smart person.
That's amazing. Great. That is so important. Thanks for letting us know. How can FundRight help us? I know you have a beautiful presentation or video for us. Do you still have that? Is it still something which you can show us?
Okay. Shikhar, are you playing that for us?
We'd love to see how FundRight could help us. And after that, jump to the Q&A immediately.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, perfect.
Plan to pursue a master's.
I was just going to confirm, Shikhar, if everybody can hear us, see us, everything's good, some thumbs up, any kind of reactions on the chats would let us know that you're still entertained and getting a lot of value. For people who might have joined a little late or are going to be watching the recording, Shivani just took us through a lot of content on how funding your education also is a very important thing to start considering. There's so much value in the entire conversation we've had with her. So please do go back and watch it. And yeah, Shrikar, I think we should be good to play the video now. Oh yeah, we got a thumbs up.
Plan to pursue a master's abroad? Are you curious, excited, and anxious about selecting the right program? Want to avoid common pitfalls in making your decision? According to the World Bank, 250 million students are enrolled in universities. That's the same as 1/4 of India walking into a college at once. With such high demand, universities have been multiplying their fees and cutting down on their quality. As an effect, students are not able to earn enough, owing up to $1.5 trillion as student loans in the US alone. At GradRight, we believe an informed choice of university can get you the education you dream of at the right cost. GradRight is a data science-based, alumni-powered platform that enables your journey from selecting to applying to funding your dream program. Measure quality as per your expectations, admission chances, and your return on each program, and co-create your shortlist with your well-wishers. Connect with alumni of any university and learn from their personal experiences. Access alumni and writing experts from around the world to help build convincing SOPs and applications. Join the GradRight community of rational decision makers and let us negotiate the best loans and scholarships on your behalf for free. Wave goodbye to the arbitrary, let data and your network shape your future success. Sign up and become part of the growing GradRight community. It's free.
Love this. So
Love the
insightful.
video. Yeah, it's so illustrative, easy to understand for a visual eye.
I'm going to quickly sum this up. So GradRight is going to help potential students go through the entire journey of being a student. And you don't just stop it there. You also handhold to get the FundRight, which is getting the right loan for your education as well. What I am sort of perceiving from this, one thing which probably you haven't told me yet, and you should tell all of your students is, since you did tell that getting a loan has a lot to do with the kind of college you go to or the university you go to, what I'm assuming is instead of being inclined towards the colleges which are going to give you commissions as agents, you will want students to go into good colleges so that they can get loans as well. So I see a lot of good positives coming out of the entire work with GradRight. But either way, I'm sorry, it was just a light bulb moment for me when I watched the video.
Nice. I think we should take up the questions. That's my favorite part always.
Okay.
Just before we do, I'm extremely sorry. I have to drop off the meeting from here, but Urvi is of course here to answer all of hers and your expertise.
Yeah.
But great talking to you, Shivani. Thanks so much for today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you for being there.
And thank you so much for everybody who did watch us. And we'll take it over from here. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Vishal. So is GradRight only for Indian students who want to pursue education abroad? Because there's someone who is here and they're like, I'm from Sri Lanka. Can international students apply to GradRight?
All right, I want to keep my fingers crossed that soon that should happen, because that is our aim, that is our dream, to be present globally. And the portal is, the product is such that you can plug and play and in any country where there are students and banks to give out loans. But at the moment, unfortunately, we are only servicing Indian students, right? But, because you are a student and say you're from Sri Lanka, probably drop in a mail to us. Shrikar, if you could just drop in my email ID. If you drop in a mail with where you're going, which country you're looking to study in, what program, maybe I could still come up with some suggestions, right? So yeah. I don't want to leave you loose hanging in the air there.
Okay, that's amazing. And Smriti Malhotra here is asking, after starting our studies at a university like Trent, can we apply for scholarships to waive off our next semester tuition fee? Like if they've already started.
All right, so Trent, I believe, is UK, right? And Smriti, hi, by the way. So see, basically these scholarships always look at merit and need, right? And these scholarships are open for 2-year programs. Now, I believe you've started the program, and in UK, there are mostly 1-year programs. So I'm not very sure if this will work out for you, because either you apply before the first year or you apply before the second year, right? So that's how the application works. And it's typically based on any student who's looking to study masters, and they will look at your merit and need, and then call out whether you will get the grant or not.
Okay. Aparna Mohapatra here has a question. I'll be going to Canada for Masters in Journalism in 2023. Where can I look for scholarships for loan? Would it be a good option?
Okay. So there is one very important fact that you guys need to know about scholarships. The more niche a course is, say, something to do with education, something to do with sports, something to do with maybe journalism, programs which are not so high return, right? Actually, scholarships come out more for such programs, because they know that the student is contributing to the field of society or economy or say art, right? These sectors usually don't pay up that much, right? So these scholarships are also designed for such sectors. Now, a challenge would be to really be looking for what are these scholarships for my particular field, right? Say, for example, if you're looking to pursue a master's in education, you have the FundRight program, which is a fully funded scholarship, right? So you can apply for that and go ahead, pursue your master's in education with that fully funded scholarship. But yeah, you will have to be exceptionally bright, right? If you're looking for a course in journalism, then probably you need to look for scholarships, research for scholarships for the field of journalism. I would also suggest that, I'm not sure what your portfolio looks like, what your profile looks like, but say if you have done an undergraduation in journalism or communications, and maybe you have certain work experience with any of, the known media houses, right, you could also ask them to, you could also seek some funding, some grant from them. I have seen students getting granted about 8 to 10 lakhs because they were exceptional employees in their organizations, right? Oh, wow. And the organization was interested in funding them for higher education, right? So, and this is what it is. Now, for loans for journalism for this field, I would say, sign up onto our portal and you will find all the possible options. You will also get to know whether you will get a loan for journalism or not, right? Because when it comes to courses which are non-STEM, journalism is a non-STEM. It's not science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or management, right? So we are looking at a non-STEM, non-management course. Hence, the conditions will be stricter for loan, right? The terms will be stricter for loan. And it could mean that they may ask for a collateral. It could mean that they may ask for a co-signer who's earning well in the family, right? In your immediate family. So these are conditions that you may want to be aware of beforehand, before you finally decide to pursue your master's in journalism abroad. But it's a great field to be in. And, the world is really missing good journalism, especially now, I would say. So go ahead, pursue your dream, but just make sure if you're planning next year, this is the time you should start actually looking out, what are my options to finance and what is it going to cost, and whether I'm going to actually, get my return on investment after I pass out, right? Very important. For this course, particularly very important.
Yeah. Thank you, Shivani. That was a very good answer. So someone over here, actually 2 people over here, one is Shraddha and one was anonymous. Are the scholarships for Canada or US age restricted?
Okay, so scholarships, admissions, loans do have an age restriction coming in, right? So say popularly students, say if you're not going for MBA, The category of students falls between the age group of 21 to maybe 28 years. That is the popular trend. If you're going for an MBA, then you will be between, say, because MBA schools, good MBA schools ask for at least 5 years of work experience. Then you're looking at an age group between, say, 28 years to maybe 35 years, right? So anything going beyond 35 is very difficult to get these options available. Why? Also because by 35 you're usually married, you may also have kids, so you start looking like a potential migrant who may definitely not return to the country, right? So the kind of outlook that the lender has, or maybe this organization who's giving out grants has, they start looking at you like that, right? That you may not come back to the country, and it is, I mean, they just don't look at it very positively, right?
Yeah.
But your field, the education, the field in which you're pursuing your higher education does matter a lot. If you are an exceptional student in that field, and if you're able to establish that, I'm very sure there will be one or the other organization who will want to deviate on that. I had my friend who was working with the Hindu. She was 36 years of age. She went on to pursue her master's in public policy from Johns Hopkins. And it was a 1-year course. It was a non-STEM course. It was not guaranteeing her any OPT, post-study OPT period. She's working with the World Bank now. Wow. This year she finished and she's placed with the World Bank. Her overall profile, because I personally know her, I can tell you that, yes, she was a perfect fit. Her entire master's was on a scholarship from the college, and some little amount was from her previous organization, because she was going to do good work, right? So yeah, this is how it is. So I always feel, if you are an exceptional student, there is some help coming to you.
Yeah. So like, there's no harm in putting your case forward, connecting with you guys, and then evaluating if that's really applicable to them or not. Yeah. So yeah, don't just like take the overhead information from here and be like, okay, maybe I'm not eligible. Put in your case forward, make your points, because as Shivani mentioned, all those statements, your SOPs, the work that you've done, everything matters, right? When you're choosing the university and you're moving abroad to study. That's great. Okay, so master's in computer science after 3 years of bachelor's degree. Tell us the top universities in maybe US and Canada, or just in general, and also the fees, like the band that it's in.
All right. So one very important thing is, if you've done a 3-year undergraduate degree, probably you'll not end up getting the degree program for masters in US and Canada, because for pursuing an MS in computer science, or a STEM program, the eligibility conditions call out that you should have a 4-year undergraduate degree, right? Because you're looking to do computer science, you will probably have to have that background in undergraduation, which means an engineering background, right? So, and engineering programs are 4 years, right? Now, if you're a student who's probably not done a degree, undergraduate degree in engineering, which is a 4-year degree. Maybe you've done, there are 3-year diploma programs also in the engineering field. You will have to make up for being on that 3-year undergraduate degree by some additional work experience, which is solid enough, right? Something very exceptional on your profile to be able to apply for masters in computer science. Otherwise, you will not be eligible to apply for a master's in computer science if you are with a 3-year undergraduate degree, right? So this is a very basic check. When you're applying to colleges, on their website, they will usually lay out these rules that this is the minimum marks you should have, this is the kind of degree you should have, because their education system abroad is the number of years of education before you apply for your master's, right? Evaluates you basis a 4-year undergraduate program, right? So be just careful of that. But if you want to just say you clear that parameter, you want to look at top universities for pursuing computer science, just go by a standard ranking system, maybe QS ranking or something which banks use. It's called, the site is called Webometrics. You may want to refer to any one of these and just look at the top 500 and then maybe 500 to 1000. But the moment ranks go above 1000, it becomes difficult for the loan. It becomes difficult. Scholarships completely rule out. Yeah, that's how it works out.
Okay, no, that's great. Shrikar, if you're still here, if you can put in, what Shivani mentioned on the chat, so maybe people can get the spelling right or whatever that was. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And then the 2 questions.
Yeah, Urvi, just a second. I think there was a question that you called out earlier of Syracuse University. I'll just, took that, but I didn't answer that. I'm just looking for that question once.
It's here. It's actually the first one. I'll be going to US for a STEM course, information system in Syracuse University for fall 2022. So far, I've tried to manage the fees, but I'm skeptical whether I will be able to repay the loan, and my parents' investment on me will be worth it, considering Syracuse is quite expensive.
Right. So whoever it is, first of all, I'm very happy to hear that you're pursuing your master's in Syracuse. Syracuse is also a partner university to GradRight and a very close partner, in fact. So, I'm not sure, when did you start your program, before they became a partner or after they became a partner to us? But it's a very well-ranked school, right? Now, your chances of, your capacity to repay the loan, right, or get that return on investment will totally depend on, of course, no doubts upon the brand, okay, no doubts upon the kind of university it is. But beyond that, first of all, you are at the campus, you're studying. Look for options where you can, manage your living costs somehow by earning. All right, so get onto an assistantship program in the college, and best if you can get it by the 2nd semester, right? So that then your living costs are taken care of, and your insurance costs are also taken care of, because you are on to the rolls of the college there, right? So that is one way. If you are in the first year still, look if you can apply for a second year, a scholarship for second year, right? The names that I called out, that is also one way to then burden the cost that you've already seen. If I'm not sure if you are, what exactly is your course, but considering it's a computer science, data science, or anything to do with computers and, the information technology side, then definitely you should not you should not worry about, how much will you earn and when will you start repaying, because returns are pretty good for such programs if you are doing it from a university like Syracuse, right? Also, the way you look for jobs in the US is very different, right? Your networking should start right from the 2nd semester when you're looking for an internship, and then your internship effort will also translate into where you're working and whether they can offer you a pre-placement offer. So the way you network and the way you research on what kind of jobs you will get onto or where you want to work will really, really help you build in getting a job as soon as possible, right? And currently the market is not so great. I did see students who just passed out, they are a little in trouble because US is looking to go into a recession, right? But a recession doesn't stay forever. It doesn't stay for long. These are cycles, right? So we will again push into a boom period. So I think by the time you guys pass out, it will be a better situation. And so long as you're a good performing student academically, doing well, managing your grades, and making use of the exposure that you're into, making use of the learnings that you're doing, keeping your profile strong, you will be in the top contenders of, you will get placed very quickly. I've seen not so good quality students also getting placed pretty well, right? So a lot will happen in these 2 years. Just network well, make use of these 2 years very, very well. And while you have that fear, it's good to have that fear because you'll be equally conscious, right?
Yeah.
And you will end up repaying, or you will end up paying off all the money that you have spent, right?
No, that was a great answer. You're carefully answering all these questions. That's amazing. There were 2 people who asked about, the scholarship that you mentioned, and you mentioned that we could Google it. Can you maybe leave the names of those here? Because I think they don't remember it anymore, or they were not too.
Right. So I will make you do some hard work. I'm not going to leave the names here because students, they should do some hard work here. So write down these names in your diaries, please, and don't forget, or save it in your phone, in an email, send it to yourself. But look for J&T Tata Endowment Fund, right? Look for KC Mahindra. Look for NSF Narottam Seksaria, right? Mashrikar, my colleague, is very, very kind and generous. He's still typing it down. It's okay. And look for Aga Khan Foundation, right? Yeah, these are few names that I can call out. And if you're applying for a loan through GradRight, you also have some scholarships on GradRight. Not very high, but maybe 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, or maybe around, if in USD around $5,000, $4,000, like that. So yeah, we also have scholarships, women empowerment scholarships. We have one scholarship for the LGBT society, right? So we keep coming out with some unique small amount scholarships, but so long as whatever little amount we can help you with, even if it means 1 month of living costs, we try to manage that because we are still a bootstrapped startup.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, Shivani. And because you mentioned women empowerment, and I'm a little more inclined towards that, and always cheering on for other young women who are doing great things. So can you brief more about what are the criteria specific to that? Or are there any particular courses? Is it just the STEM, or is it even in management, and also the other part where, journalism, fashion, or all these?
Right.
Can you just say a bit more about
the scholarships that we give out on our own, from our own money, we've not kept any restriction in terms of STEM and management. We just like to see, these are small awards, see, it's 2-3 lakhs, not more than that. We genuinely, because we service these students ourselves and we have very deep conversations with each student. So we sort of, really recognize, really understand what background the student comes from, how hard the student has worked to be here. And, in that journey, we sort of sense what kind of a potential the student carries, right? So for example, this women empowerment scholarship, I remember last season we've given to a girl who went for her master's in international relations in London School of Economics, right? And I can't detail enough, or I can't explain enough. While it was very, very hard to get a loan for that student, very, very hard, right? Very, very hard. It was almost a 2 months grind that we went through. But I was so sure about that student, that this student must get a loan, and this student is also worth a scholarship from us, right? And she was in such a terrible financial condition that every single penny mattered to her, right? She was also funded by her organization, by the way. Some 8 lakhs went from her organization. Wow. So you can well believe how promising that student was.
Yeah.
Right? So so that scholarship went to her because she really, really spelled out that while she was meritorious, she was needing it financially, she was also deserving it from all the lenses, right? So this is one example of the women empowerment scholarship that went to that student.
Okay, that's amazing. So I'm just trying to see if we can wrap this up, because such good information, and this recording will be sent out to people who signed up, right?
Yeah. Shrikar? Yes, Shrikar is recording, so it will.
Yeah. Someone's asking, is it late for Jan 23 intake loans for Canada?
Absolutely not. Just the right time. Apply now, because see, if you're going to Canada, there's going to be a big fight for visa, right? Because they are running on so much of lag, because there's so many students. Traffic is almost 3 times the usual traffic, right?
Yes.
So if you're applying for a student direct stream, visa under student direct stream, then your TAT is shorter. Turnaround times for visa processing are shorter, 45 days to maybe 60 days, which is actually not the time. It should be much lesser, but because there is so much of traffic. But if you're applying for the non-SDS stream, there is no guarantee how long will your visa take, right? And most of the students prefer the student direct stream of applying visa, which means that you will have to show your funds, tuition and living expenses before applying for the visa, right? So exactly the right time to apply for a Jan 23 Canada intake. You will apply now for a loan, say max by 1 month, you'll be done with your loan. Then you will take the, you will start preparing for visa. You will take the disbursement of the loan, pay the tuition, get the receipt from college, get the GIC account done, put these all together with your essay application and file your Canadian visa, right? So say by it's July, by August you get done with your loan. By September, say you are done with all your visa preparations. Max by October you apply for the visa, right? Max by October, and then you're in a comfortable position to receive your visa on time and be on time on campus, right? So very important. Canada students should start applying for loan now, if at all you've not applied till now, right?
No, that's a great point. So like I heard, like we were speaking to George Brown College's representative once, and they mentioned that for this one particular management program, when they launched it, like when they opened the admissions for a particular intake, it was filled by, like, especially Indians and international students within hours. Like the whole, they had so many entries and they had to close the entry within hours. It was not even like a whole 24 hours. So like Canada definitely is full on demand, also because ROI is high, right? Everybody who goes to university and is a 2-year course gets a 3-year work permit, so that's something that's attractive. Definitely you want that ROI, you want to work here if you study here. So that's a good answer, and we'll take this one last question because all other questions are pretty similar, so we've answered it, which is great. Yeah, so I secured MBA admission at University Canada West, which is for profit institution. Can you please advise if I get scholarship outside?
Unfortunately, no. All right. So if you're vying for a scholarship for an MBA program, there will be too few, because MBA programs pay a lot, right? And in Canada, probably these scholarships, external ones, will be available for Rotman, Waterloo, Ivy, Schulich. These are the kinds of schools they will mostly have it for, because these schools then demand that you have a certain level of a GMAT score and a certain level of experience, and yeah, their benchmarks are much higher, and the scholarship is also going to judge you over that, right? So unfortunately, I mean, don't be demotivated by it, but I just want to not have, I just don't want you to have any false hopes on that, right?
Okay. And Shivani, just one last, because this was on the chat, I didn't see it on the Q&A. I'm a 44-year-old teacher who has got the unconditional offer letter for October intake in University Canada West. I've also been a scholarship of 4,000 Canadian. I think they've been awarded that. I'm looking for an educational loan at the earliest. How can you help me? I'm ready to provide collateral.
All right. Unfortunately, there is an age foundation for education loans. And like I mentioned earlier, 35 is what the banks stop at, right? So unfortunately, you will have a tough time looking out for a loan, because at the age of 44, they will know that you are looking to go settle there and may not come back, right? And then you have maybe certain other responsibilities which may intervene in terms of the loan repayment, right? So banks are set in a manner where because they're giving that money out in an unsecured fashion also. They go by popular trends, right? And popular trends say that, you know, students should be within this age to this age. And I've often come across, you know, I had an IS officer, I remember, who at the age of 45 was again going for his master's to the US. And while he was an IS officer, he said, I don't have so much money. It might look like I have so much money, but trust me, if I would have got a loan, it would have been much easier for me, right? So, but I said, you know, you are the IS officer. You should be changing the rules of this country. Unfortunately, we are still very, very behind in those sense, right? So.
Okay. No, thank you, Shivani. This session was super insightful. So many light bulb moments, even for Vishal and me. So really love what you are achieving through GradRight and FundRight. Your platform is really helping so many international students, you know, bring their dreams to life. So how can they contact you? Is that the link Shrikar just put in for FundRight?
Yeah, I think that is one link, and there's one more poll, I think, that we just want to understand, you know, how did you guys like this session, and what is it that probably you would want to hear more from us? And Shrikar, if you can run that poll. Yeah, this will be like a test for us, Urvi, whether the audience really like it or not, right? So, and Shrikar, please don't publish the results.
And also because I think major of them have dropped out, or, you know, they're going to be watching the recording. How can they get in touch with you?
All right, I think we will have the registration details of the students, and we will be sending an email out with you know, the relevant information, the recording and the link also, and I think it will be taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I think we are at 8:15. So
yes,
yeah, so I think
yes,
it's time to wrap up.
I'm just gonna be taking a picture, and it's just you and me because Shrikar is not seen. But yes, it was amazing chatting with you, Shivani.
Yeah, thank you so much, Urvi, and thank you everyone for you know what, it's a Wednesday evening.
Yes,
So thank you for, you know, being with us and patiently listening to us. But the purpose only gets resolved if you really come back to us and
take action,
get your problem solved, and if we are really able to solve your problem, right? So go ahead and do that.
Yes. No, highly encourage you all to actually contact them and, you know, take their, you guys take an assessment, right, Shivani? Is that how it works?
The portal itself, you know,
is self-explanatory. Yeah. So give the portal a try and do contact them, and it's going to be a good ride. Yeah. Hope to see you guys in North America.
Thank you so
yes.
much.
Thank you, Shivani.
And Vishal also.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Thank you, Shrikar. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Yeah. Bye-bye.